Yo guys, what's going on? It is Ryuga here, and I'm back at you with another Improve Your Gameplay video. This time we're going to be watching some Survivor gameplay. Our lad is going to be playing Bill. So what I do in these Improve Your Gameplay is we just kind of watch the match, and we provide commentary on moments where we believe that gameplay or, situational awareness could be improved. So without further ado, let's just jump into it and see how the game goes. First, we're going to start by looking at the perks. We have Botany Knowledge, Botter Time, Empathy, and Kindred or Dark Sense. One of the two. I don't know what the fuck that is. But either way, it's a good build. And we got some memers over there. It's always good to meme at the beginning of the match to ease the tension. Get to know your Survivor comrades. David, looking thick as always. Now the first thing, oh well, that actually is exactly what I was about to say. The first thing you should do when getting on a generator, if you don't know who the killer is you should be somewhere completely in the open, and you should always be watching all sides of you. So what happened is you pretty much didn't look at this side at all. You just walked up to the generator and got on it. At the beginning of the match, you need to know whether it's a stealth killer or not. And also, you probably heard Ghostface running up on you because he sounds like, the wind. But, for further in the future, what you should do always is look always around you at all times until you know who the killer is. So he snuck up on you and you got that free hit. See what you do here. It's more, beneficial to instantly drop the pallet at these kinds of loops. So that was a good play on your part. I don't know about the insta-heal play there. When you have a pink insta-heal, sometimes it's better saving it for later in the match in dire situations where you possibly are dead on hook or a teammate is being tunneled. However, it's going to provide you some coverage here because you're about to be healed before the Ghostface can catch back up to you. Now I do want to note how efficiently you are watching the killer and his red stain. You stay right here, you see. If he keeps going, you're watching the red stain at the window, so you knew he did not go past this area right here. And you also knew he vaulted back because the red stain didn't come any further. And it's a good play making distance when he went the wrong way. Yeah. I was going to comment on that. Although you were making good use of watching the red stain, you should have also been watching this part over here. So what I would have done is if I didn't see him over here, I more than likely would have inched up here. Personally. Because then you could see if he's coming from either way. You got view in here, pretty much all directions, but you weren't watching here at all. Because he can go around this wall and cut you off here like he did so. It's always good, anytime you're playing Survivor, is to try to be aware of all the space around you, not just the loop. You need to be aware of everywhere around you. Alright. You still have the pallet there. And you have this one. Normally it's better to throw these pallets down pretty fast because if a killer is good at mind gaming, they will almost always catch you at this loop right here. So being near the pallet is always playing it safe. However, if the killer does hide his red stain and swings through, you almost, most of the time, will not be able to react fast enough to throw the pallet down. So that's something to be aware of, but you still did good here. You also see that he is, trying to hide his red stain, but you keep seeing every time he switches directions. I would have went straight for the pallet. You may have lost too much distance. I don't know if there's much you could have done there, because if he kicked the pallet or ran through here, you wouldn't have been able to make it to that pallet, and even going around, you would not have made it here. Your best bet was either going to the pallet or vaulting the window. Either way, I think that you would have gone down there, so you more than likely played that the best you could. Another thing you could have done, which is a little more risky, is back here. When he was over here, making your way a lot sooner over to that side so you could have gained more distance when he kicked it. But, sometimes in the moment you're not able to think that far ahead. But you should always consider those things. So that chase lasted a long time. I don't know if he has Ruin or not, but there should be 2 or 3 gens popping because it was a very good chase. Overall, you did very well. And take note, he has Thrilling Tremors based on the noise it made when he picked you up. There goes another gen. And a 3rd gen just popped. Your teammates played very optimally, and they are spread apart. That is how most Survivor teams should play. Ganging up on a gen is not beneficial until the end of the game. Or to secure a very unsafe gen as well. Healing on the hook is also very risky as Ghostface. I would suggest getting to a loop before healing. However, you see with empathy that somebody is already being chased, so you know that you're safe. I'm not quite sure what you're doing here, but it is a waste of time right now. It would have been more beneficial to jump on the generator with David, as to somebody was already being chased, and you probably could have knocked it out fairly fast. You're keeping distance so he can't see you with barbecue. I assume you're wanting to go in for the unhook. Looks like that person has Kindred and it is coming in handy. They're going to beat you to the hook. However, a double heal would be very beneficial in this situation. That unhook happened very... yeah. That's what I was about to say. So if you go back, the unhook happened very, very, very close to when he got hooked. So your first thing should have been, would be to check corners before just, you know, running across them like that. Because it is a Ghostface, he has no tear radius, and you pretty much ran right into him. However, he did miss, and he lagged into who knows what. Looks like he's securing the free hit on you. Let's see what he does from there. Yeah. Alright, so let's go back to here. When you ran over here, what you should have done is analyze all the structures that you had. So, after you left here, what you should have done, instead of running the other direction, is kept running straight. But instead what you did is you went to this structure, which you saw had no pallet, and when you got hit, you put yourself in a very unsafe zone. 4 lanes are incredibly unsafe. You should never put yourself in one if you can help it. It would have been better to gain distance by running possibly to the middle building so you can reposition yourself into a better loop. And you don't have eyes on the killer, which ends up making you go down here. Again, 4 lanes are incredibly unsafe. Looks like somebody's been working on that gen for a while, so that one should pop. Yep, there it goes. Looks like the Ghostface is just wasting time by checking. I would be trying to reveal him if at all possible. Looks like 2 different people are on 2 different generators, which is smart at the end of the game. However, they both ran off the generators at the same time. Now, what you should be thinking while you're on the hook are what your escape options are in case Ghostface comes back. Because this is now a complete dead zone with no pallets. However, somebody is exposed. So after the double heal, your best bet is leaving this completely unsafe generator and taking note of where the other 2 people who are working on gens were at so you can continue their work. Although you have 2 to 3 people here, your best bet, you know, is to find a different generator. Cleansing a totem this late in the game might not be worth it. If you're going to stay in this area, you can always finish the gen and see if the totem is going to stay lit if he has no it. Yeah, while 3 people on a gen can be good, I still feel like, because this is the dead zone, it's not worth staying in this area. Luckily, Ghostface is not shrouded, so you know he's coming. And this lets you get a good distance away from him while he kicks those people off the gen. He is stalking you. Yep, good job doing line of sight. And getting away from him as fast as you can. Now you should have taken note of where those people were working on generators while you were on the hook. That way you could instantly go to them instead of running around like a chicken with their head cut off, like you're doing right now. While that is very altruistic of you, considering that you are on death hook and they are not, that could mean, you know, your death in the long run. So while it may have seemed nice and altruistic at first, it probably would have been better to let them go down because they had more stages on their hook and you're dead. A very close call, but you made it nonetheless. Good job keeping an eye on his red stain, showing that he was going to kick the pallet. And luckily for you, your teammates made good use of their time by completing the last gen. So far, the team is showing that they have, you know, good game sense and are being extremely optimal. At this point, since you're in that strong structure, the best bet is to definitely waste pallets. That way they can secure opening the door and you can escape. And looks like Quentin is there to repay you. Slow vault. Yep. Now at this point in the game, the exit gate is open and you could probably leave if you want. We'll see what you decide to do. Going back for your teammates is always the most honorable thing to do, even if you're on death hook. It's always more fun to at least try to save your teammate instead of dying. Or instead of letting them die, my bad. Kindred has given you a lot of good information. However, it looks like you are rushing in without first analyzing your surroundings. See if he can take a borrowed time hit. He decided to not. Tap could get a flashlight save, however, he is being extremely obvious with his movements. And then he runs too far away to actually get the flashlight save. And that kills you on the hook. Overall, that was very good gameplay, but let's see the few moments where we could have improved and possibly made it to where you would actually have survived. At this moment here, when you decided to use your medkit, you must consider the end of the game. When Ghostface was chasing you, instead of Quentin taking a hit, you could have used your insta medkit and healed over time, and probably would have escaped at the very end without anybody else having to get chased or hooked, which probably would have saved everybody's lives. So using the medkit as soon as you can is not always the best decision, considering you have every loop in the game still up and you definitely could have survived a lot longer. Another thing is this scenario right here when Ghostface catches you off guard. You need to be aware of all surroundings at the same time. You can't just watch only the openings you think they can come from the loop. You need to be aware of everything around you, and you may have been able to avoid this hit as well. Now over here, the only thing that could have saved you would have been running a lot earlier, which could have still been risky. However, that is the only thing that would have saved you in this scenario here to prevent you from being hooked. Another thing is when the other guy got unhooked and you guys were healing him, you should have remembered that it was a Ghostface and checked all your corners before running them, as well as right here, when you got hit by the Ghostface and you decided to run back into a completely unsafe area, instead of running all the way back to the middle building, or a different loop that would have, guided you a lot more, possibly being able to loop him for the last 2 generators. 4 lanes are very, very unsafe, and you should never be here if you can help it. Other than that, the only thing to comment on is your altruism. That's fun and all, but if you're trying to survive, it more than likely will lead to your death. Now, if you kept that insta medkit, your altruism could actually be, improved upon, because you could do it without repercussions. or if you had adrenaline, you could do it as well because there's only one gen left. You know, at some point you did escape because they decided to trade with you. However, that instant medkit that you used in the beginning could have averted this entire situation because you would have been able to make it out here all the way to the door, assuming you ran the same path. Overall, you made some extremely well plays, and it looks like you know how to loop solidly. The only thing I would prove upon is being more aware of what killer you're facing and taking things to, you know, prevent the situations that you put yourself in. For the most part, all the loops were ran just fine. However, you could have optimized by knowing when you're in a dead zone, as well as being far less altruistic in certain situations. And other than that, I'd say that's a pretty solid match. Your team was very good. No obsession means nobody had DS. However, you guys still were able to optimally finish all the generators, as well as loop the killer long enough to give your teammates, you know, time to do what they need, as well as, you know, protecting your own teammates. That was very nice. Everybody on your team showed a good, decent bit of altruism. Other than that, not much else to say. It was a solid match. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the commentary video. If you want to submit your own gameplay, feel free. I prefer it to be on a Google Drive link. 1080p, not bad quality, because if I'm going to showcase it on YouTube, it needs to at least be, you know, not absolutely terrible, but more details will be down in the description if you want to try to send me more gameplay. Other than that, I hope this helped you improve your gameplay in the future, and I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you have a good rest of your day, night, evening, morning, whatever time it is, wherever you live, and I'll see you guys in the fall. Peace. I appreciate you guys watching.